Again, there's so much nervousness out there when you speak to investors and when you speak to the markets. Give me a sense of what you would be able to do or to give to normalize a relationship with Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, I think, is one of the exceptional things that tells you why I'm very optimistic about Israel. Really one of two reasons, one of two main reasons. One is that, well, I'll start with Saudi Arabia, but then I'll get with the other one.
Yeah.
I think that we are about to witness a pivot of history. Maybe. I can't guarantee that it'll happen. But first, there is an economic corridor of energy, transport, and communications that naturally goes through our geography, from the Arabian Peninsula, from Asia to the Arabian Peninsula to Europe. We're going to realize that.
Yeah.
And by the way, my sense is we're going to realize that despite whether we have formal peace or not.
But do you have to give concessions? So we understand Saudi Arabia. So what would you give? Would you limit, for example, Jewish settlements in the West Bank?
Again, you have a good penchant as a good journalist to try to eke out for me my negotiation stance, and of course you're not going to succeed, but you could keep on trying. But do I think it's feasible to have that? And do I think that political questions will block it? I doubt it. If there's political will, there'll be a political way to achieve normalization and a formal peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
But, Prime Minister,
that has enormous economic consequences for your investors. And if they have to bet on it right now, I'd bet on it, but I can't guarantee it.
And Prime Minister, this is why I'm not trying to ink out negotiation taxes. I'm trying to understand what you're willing to give, because this is such an important partnership.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm not willing to give. I'm not willing to give anything that will endanger Israel's security. That I will not do. But I think there's enough room to discuss possibilities. I don't think, I think the Palestinian thing is brought in all the time. It was always brought in. And it's sort of a checkbox, you know. You have to check it to say that you're doing it. Is that what is being said in corridors? Is that what is being said in discrete negotiations?
I don't know. You tell me. What's being said?
The answer is a lot less than you think.
Okay, so if you look at, for example, giving the Palestinians their own state, is that something that you would? Is that a red line?
It won't be their own state. It'll be an Iranian-controlled state that will. In an area that is about the width of the Washington Beltway. If you take Israel and the Palestinian areas in Judea, Samaria, and the West Bank together, it's a little more than the width of the Washington Beltway. You put a Palestinian state, which will be controlled by Iran, in half of that, or in the middle of that, you won't have a Palestinian state. You'll have an Iranian terror state. And
so that's a no.
Of course, it's a no, yes.
So that under no circumstances would you allow that?
No, what I said often is that the way that I would have a solution is two things about that. One, that the Palestinians should have all the powers to govern themselves and none of the powers to threaten Israel. This means that in whatever final settlement, peace settlement we have with the Palestinians, Israel remains I would say Israel has the overriding security power in the entire area, ours and theirs. Otherwise, we collapse. They collapse.